My wife and I went antique shopping this weekend in a small country town, and I found some fun jazz records for $2 each. Let's go through those and a few of the other things that I found that I think were fun and worth showing. Well, my wife and I were in Woodbury, Tennessee this weekend, and they have a little downtown square area with several antique stores. And whenever I find myself in Woodbury, I always hit up the same 3 or 4 antique stores. So we made a point to stop by, and shopping for records in an antique store is always an adventure because the pricing is just like it doesn't make sense anymore. You can find just regular common, rock or singer-songwriter records for a ridiculous price. And then you just keep, going through them, and you'll stumble on, some great records for a great price. And that's what happened in one of the stores that I was in, where I had searched. There was upstairs and a downstairs, and I was in the downstairs, and there was just all these records that, in fact, there was like a whole box of records that had been wet at one time and dried out, but when they separated them, it just ripped the covers off. It was gross. It was like there should have been like some sort of like note on there, like a safety hazard, just going through these moldy old records. And they were still trying to sell them for like $4 or $6 each. Like they should have just thrown those away or recycled them. I don't know. But on our way out upstairs, I noticed those big peach crates, long peach crates full of records. And I thought, well, I'll just flip through them. And I was frustrated immediately because I think after a few records, I came across a Dan Fogelberg record for $30. Like Dan Fogelberg for $30, like it's $1 record all day long. I shouldn't say nobody. I'm not sure who would spend $30 on a Dan Fogelberg record, but if they think they can get $30 for that Dan Fogelberg record, who am I to judge? But as I was going through, the first thing that caught my eye was this great record I've been looking for quite some time, which is Buddy Rich versus Max Roach, a battle of the bands and drums between Buddy and Max. And I was so excited to find it. And $2. So I thought, all right, well, if there's a Max Roach record in here for $2, maybe there's more. And there were. I also found this mono Columbia 6-eye copy of an Errol Garner record. And this one was $2. And there are those beautiful 6 eyes. I also found this one I just took a gamble on at $2 because I thought, why not? And it's called Hi-Fi Drums. And this record is insane. The drumming on this album, it's kind of got like a big band feel to it at times. And then all of a sudden the drummers just come in with these crazy extended solos. And you know what? It's not worth a lot of money, but I paid $2 and it makes for a real fun listen. Another record I found was, let me do this one. John Pell's Flight of the Swan. There's not much that I couldn't find much information on this, but one of the reasons why I thought it would be interesting is, check out that label. 1981 Winter Song Productions in Nashville, Tennessee. And there is there's a quote here from Chet Atkins. I always enjoy John Pell's albums, and I believe this is one of his finest. Short, sweet, and to the point. So everything I guessed was that it was probably like an acoustic guitar album. And that turned out to be mostly true, although there's a lot more instrumentation going on. So this is kind of like one of those sort of new agey, guitar records. Again, $2. But what's really great about this is it's got a lot of great instrumentation that's good for listening to on audio gear when you're kind of trying to hear not just like a regular loud rock song like a Metallica or like something like that. Like this kind of helps, gives you a little bit of better audio separation for some of that to listen to. So it's kind of a fun listen. There was one song on here that I really, really enjoyed, and totally spacing on the name now. But again, I guess John's got other albums, and this was recorded in Franklin, Tennessee. So I figured $2, I would take take a gamble, and it was worth it. So this is another one I found for $2. This is Liz Story's Solid Colors, and these are piano solos. And this is on Wyndham Records, which I usually pick up if I find them for a good price, because they're always kind of hit or miss. Again, kind of that, new age instrumental type albums. And this album I actually really enjoyed because the piano playing is very intricate with a lot going on. And again, listening to this on a great sound system really kind of brings out the music, and you can hear a lot going on the piano. So I'm interested in using this, like when I'm testing audio gear. I think this would be a good record to listen to and just see how the piano notes sound when playing the gear. So, I found one more that was $2, and this one was Randy Matthews, Wish We Had Been Ready on Word Records. So this is a total like CCM, Christian Contemporary Music album, and it's from the 70s. But here's what, when I was reading the back, I was like, I got to kind of pick this up and just see how it sounds. So I guess Randy at one point in time was in a psychedelic rock band. Excuse me, he was the lead singer of an acid rock band. And here's what he has to say about his time in the acid rock band. I was at the age when I had to rebel from my father, he says. I sang acid rock until those guttural, animalistic noises nearly ruined the quality of my voice. The band did very well, but I never wrote anything until I found Christ. So it turns out his dad was... his dad helped organize the Jordanaires, which was Elvis's first backup group. So lots of musical history here. Not necessarily something that I'm probably going to keep musically, but these CCM albums, you can usually, get, $15, $20 for them, because they've just gotten, that CCM market's really caught up with wanting to listen to these records again, these LPs, and a lot of them probably aren't on streaming services. So, this is one that I may sell this one, and if I get enough, it'll pay for all the other ones that I bought. And while I was in a different store, I found all these in another store. These next three items: Anita Baker's Rapture for $8. Now, I grabbed this because I've actually sold this record a couple times for $20 and up. This one's not in that $20 type condition, but whenever I'm out, if I find something that I feel like I could pick up and sell and basically pay for everything else I've bought, I try to do that because when you buy as many records as I do, if you can ever pick one up to help kind of cover your cost for all the records that you buy, I think I'm okay with that. So anyway, Anita Baker's Rapture. This is the 1986 original copy, and I've sold it a couple times, so definitely grab that. I also picked up this 78 by Tommy Edwards. It's All in the Game, and the other side is All Over Again. So this is kind of your typical, pop vocal, male singing, but this is super clean. And I actually cleaned it again and listened to it. It plays really quiet for 78. A lot of times, 78s just sound really rough, but this one sounds really, really great. I paid $2 for it, and it actually sells. I've seen it selling between $13 and $30, I think. So I figured, why not? Maybe somebody out there wants a copy of it this clean, and so I went ahead and picked it up. Again, kind of helps pay for everything that I bought over the weekend. And last, I was going through an insanely overpriced crate of 45s at an antique store. Wanting like $6 for really common rock 45s that you can find for 50 cents or $1 all day long. And I stumbled on this, which is Jimmy Elledge, Your Funny Way of Loving Me, and on the other side is Touch My Heart. So this is on Big A Records, which I think that's what grabbed my eye first, just my name being Aaron. I was like, oh look, Big A Records. I actually looked up this 45 on Discogs because I just thought it looked strange. And it's actually sold for $50 at one point in time. It hasn't sold like many times, so I'm not sure that it's that desirable necessarily. I think there's another copy available for $44, but I went ahead and grabbed it for that reason. If it had been the white label promo copy, that one sells pretty consistently for $40 and up. But Jimmy Elledge, it turned out he's from Mississippi, and he moved to Nashville and signed a record deal with Chet Atkins, back to the John Pell record. And his real only hit was Funny How Time Slips Away, written by Willie Nelson. But he kept recording and bounced around to various labels. And what's funny is that if you listen to Touch My Heart, it's very much a kind of very white country crooning song. It's not necessarily doesn't jump out. But Your Funny Way of Loving Me has sort of like this country soul vibe to it that doesn't come across really as just a straight country song. Like his vocal on it really sort of it just stands out and sounds a lot different. It has like a soulful feeling. And what's interesting is if you look up Jimmy Elledge on Pop Psych, he has releases later in his career in the 70s that sell pretty well as just typical Northern soul releases. So there was sort of something about his voice that that didn't lend itself to just a Mississippi country sound. He was kind of able to cross borders with a more soulful sound as well. So I'm actually probably going to keep this one. It might be fun to try to throw into a DJ set here or there and see what other people think about it. So those were my finds. Again, I flipped through so many overpriced records at antique stores, but for me, that's part of the fun. Like if folks, usually when I go to these stores, I usually rotate and I visit them about once a month or once every 2 months. And you know what? I see the same expensive records there. And so if they think they can get, $30 and up for some of these common records that we either find in Goodwill for $1 or, at your record store for $2 or $3, then good for them. But I just tend to skip over those in the hopes that I find some other great records. I was really excited to find a handful of jazz records for $2, especially in Woodbury, Tennessee. Really excited about the Buddy Rich and the Max Roach, that Hi-Fi Drums records. Those are just really big sounding drum records that are fun to listen to on my sound system, and a couple of these other items that'll be fun to see if I can sell and kind of break even on adding great things to my collection, without dipping too much into the personal checkbook. But anyway, if I ever see an antique store, I usually swing in just in case, because I have found some great things in there. But you just kind of have to know that you're going to have to sort through several overpriced things as well. Anyway, let me know in the comments if you've ever found anything great at an antique store in terms of records. I'd love to hear more about it. Thanks for watching.